You don't have to feel 100% certain to take the next step. You just have to be 1% more trusting than you were yesterday. Because momentum doesn't come from knowing, it comes from choosing to act, even without a guarantee, choosing to keep going, even when it feels slow, choosing to believe that growth is happening, even when it's invisible. Welcome to the Personal Mastery and Growth Podcast, where we explore the keys to unlocking your full potential and living your best life. I'm your host, Jose Johnson. Whether you're looking to make a breakthrough, overcome a challenge, or simply live with greater clarity, joy, and purpose, you'll find the tools and inspirations you need right here. So let's start your journey towards personal mastery and growth right now. Welcome back to the Personal Mastery and Growth Podcast, your go-to resource for practical tips, insightful research, and inspiring stories to help you unlock your full potential. I'm your host, Jose Johnson, and I'm an expert in the fields of mindset, mindfulness, and peak performance, and I'm so excited to have you here with me today. Because today we're diving into a powerful but often misunderstood idea. What does it really mean to trust the process? Now, maybe you've heard that phrase before. Maybe someone said it to you during a tough time. Or maybe you said it to yourself, trying to stay motivated when results were nowhere in sight. But what does trusting the process really mean? And how do you actually do it, especially when things feel uncertain, uncomfortable, or just downright slow? Well, in today's episode, we're going to explore the mindset shifts that happen when you let go of control without giving up your power. We'll unpack the neuroscience behind uncertainty, the emotional traps that keep us stuck, and 5 practical tools to help you surrender what you can't control so you can double down on what you can. So let's get to it. All right, let's get real. Letting go is hard. Most of us were raised in a culture that equates control with success. We're taught to plan, to push, to fix, hustle, and just make it happen. But here is the paradox of growth. The more you try to force transformation, the harder it resists you. Real change doesn't come from control. It comes from clarity and consistency. Now, this doesn't mean you give up your goals or you stop putting in effort, but it does mean that you release the need to control the timing, the details, or the path. The truth is, so many people stall out on their personal growth journey, not because they lack desire or discipline, but because they can't tolerate the space in between. That uncomfortable space between setting the intention and seeing the results. This is where trust becomes essential. So I want you to understand that letting go is not the same as giving up. Letting go is surrendering your grip on how things unfold so you can stay committed to why you're showing up in the first place. And that mindset shift from force to flow is one of the most powerful shifts that you can make. All right, so let's go a little deeper, because there's actually a neurobiological reason that uncertainty feels so uncomfortable. Your brain is actually wired to seek certainty. Uncertainty is interpreted as a potential threat. And when the future is unclear, your amygdala, that's the brain's alarm system, kicks into high alert. That sets off a stress response. Cortisol levels rise, the sympathetic nervous system gets activated. And suddenly, even small decisions feel overwhelming. But here's what's fascinating. When you accept uncertainty instead of fighting it, your prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for decision-making, self-awareness, and long-term planning, well, it regains control. In other words, when you trust the process, you quiet the noise in your nervous system and activate your brain's higher capacities. Now, this is why mindfulness, breathwork, and self-reflection are such powerful tools. They don't just help you feel better, they help your brain function better. And there's more. Research from Dr. Andrew Huberman shows that anticipation of reward triggers dopamine release in the brain, even before the outcome happens. Translation: when you believe that things are progressing, your brain stays motivated, even in the face of uncertainty. Now, this is the biochemical reason why faith in the process fuels action. So, building the trusting mindset isn't just about optimism, it's about regulating your brain to stay open, resourceful, and resilient. All right, so let's make this practical. How do you know if you're not trusting the process? Well, here are 5 subtle signs that your mindset may be stuck in fear or control mode. Number 1, you constantly second guess your decisions. You make a choice, then immediately start wondering if it was the right one. This is a sign of internal misalignment. Your conscious mind wants clarity, but your subconscious doesn't feel safe. Number 2, you try to control outcomes that are out of your hands. You obsess over timelines, you micromanage, you overplan. This burns your mental energy and creates anxiety without improving results. Number 3, you compare your progress to others. When you don't trust your own path, you start measuring it against someone else's. Comparison is often a coping mechanism for uncertainty. Number 4, you quit when things don't move fast enough. You tell yourself things like, it must not be meant for me, when in reality, you are just in the messy middle. Breakthroughs often show up after the breakdown. Number 5, you consume more than you create. You binge content, but don't take action. You tell yourself you're preparing, but deep down, you're avoiding the discomfort of being in the process. The solution? Not judgment, but awareness. When you recognize a pattern, you can begin to shift it. And that is where our next segment comes in. Look, you can't always trust the process until you start trusting yourself. So here are 5 tools to help you practice both. Number 1, the let go list. Write down everything that's outside of your control: other people's opinions, how fast something happens, unpredictable setbacks. Then write down what is in your control: your effort, your attitude, your response. Now, this simple clarity exercise helps you release mental clutter and reclaim your agency. Number 2, progress markers, not just outcomes. Set checkpoints based on who you're becoming, not just what you're achieving. Instead of, I need to land the client, try, I followed through on 5 outreach emails today. Now, this builds momentum from identity and not from outcome. Number 3, the 90-second reset. When anxiety kicks in, use my favorite breathing technique. Inhale through your nose as slowly as you can, hold for a few seconds, and then exhale through your mouth as long as you can, and just repeat it for 90 seconds. This calms your nervous system and allows your prefrontal cortex to re-engage. Number 4, future self-visualization. Spend 3 to 5 minutes imagining the you who has already made it through this phase. How do they walk, talk, think? What would they tell you right now? Now, this exercise taps into memory, imagination, and embodiment to activate belief. And number 5, a trust journal. At the end of each day, write down one thing that worked out, even if it wasn't the way you planned. Build a personal library of proof that things are unfolding, even if you don't always see it in real time. Now, these aren't just nice ideas. They're pattern disruptors. They train your nervous system to stay steady and train your brain to stay optimistic. All right, so I want to tell you something that might surprise you. You don't need more clarity to move forward. You need more trust that clarity will come as you move. Now, some of the biggest breakthroughs in my life came when I was the most unsure, when I had to move with faith instead of certainty. I've had moments in my life facing illness, rebuilding my business, stepping into leadership, where I had no blueprint, just belief. And you know what? That was enough. Because trusting the process doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing the right things with presence, with consistency, and with patience. So remember this: clarity is often the reward for motion, not the prerequisite. So here's your challenge for the week. Pick one area of your life where you've been holding on a little too tightly. Maybe it's your timeline for success. Maybe it's your need to have everything figured out. Maybe it's the internal pressure to always be in control. Whatever it is, take a moment to name it. Write it down. Acknowledge it. And then do two things. First, make your let go list. Put on paper the things that are outside of your control. Not to give up, but to release the grip. Then take one action within your power. Just one small step, a message, a boundary, a decision, a breath. Trust doesn't grow by waiting. It grows by moving. And here is the kicker. You don't have to feel 100% certain to take the next step. You just have to be 1% more trusting than you were yesterday. Because momentum doesn't come from knowing, it comes from choosing. Choosing to act, even without a guarantee. Choosing to keep going, even when it feels slow. Choosing to believe that growth is happening, even when it's invisible. So let me remind you of this truth. Trust isn't passive, it's powerful. It doesn't mean doing less. It means doing what matters more consistently. It's not about giving up. It's about giving yourself permission to breathe, believe, and become. And if you're ready to go a little deeper, to truly rewire your thinking and realign with who you're becoming, well, I've got two ways to help you. The Mindset Makeover book, it walks you through 9 transformational mindset shifts with powerful stories, science-backed tools, and reflection prompts to help you create real change. And the Mindset Makeover course, a self-paced digital course that helps you uncover your default patterns, strengthen your mindset muscles, and create aligned action from a place of clarity and purpose. And you'll find both along with some free mindset assessments at josejohnson.com/mindset. And finally, if this episode spoke to you, spoke to something inside of you, please take a moment to rate, review, or share it with someone who needs it. Because growth doesn't happen in isolation. It happens in conversation, in community, and in connection. So until next time, stay grounded, stay growing, and keep showing up for the life that you're meant to live. And remember, it is what it is, but it becomes what you make it. So make it great. Thanks for tuning in. Before we wrap up, I just want to remind you that the information shared in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for professional advice or treatment. While the content of this podcast is based on research and personal experience, everyone's situation is unique, and the advice given may not be applicable to all. Always consult a qualified professional before making significant changes in your life. The Personal Mastery and Growth podcast is recorded at the So Good Media Studios, located in the Candy Factory, a co-working space in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.